Okay, stand by.
Talk is brought to you by McMenamin's Pubs and Breweries, your neighborhood place for family and friends. Now with 2 pubs in Corvallis, your Northwest Dodge dealer. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. Regents. We are all connected and 1,000 strong. Regents. Together, we can take charge. The dairy farmers of Oregon say, check your fridge. Got milk? Safety of all-wheel drive standard. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by Reesers. With Reesers, you've got it made. Now, here's the voice of the Beavers, Mike Parker.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Beaver Sports Talk from McMenamin's on Monroe along the Beaver Sports Radio Network. Great to have you with us tonight and every Tuesday night right here, 7:05 to 8 o'clock. This time of year, we talk OSU women's and men's basketball, and later in the program, we'll be welcoming a student athlete from the gymnastics team, Deanna Pyro, who is this week's everyday champion. So that's all coming up tonight here on the show. We're going to get started with Coach Wagner in a moment. Jay John will join us. Big weekends for both teams this past weekend, getting splits in these ultra-competitive conferences they're in, the Pac-10, both on the men's and women's side, and the Beavers at home this week on the men's side of the Bay Area schools, while the OSU women's basketball team venture down to play 2 ranked teams on the road in the Bay Area. So we'll be talking about all of that tonight. It's great to have you with us in our beautiful new venue, and you're invited every Tuesday night, 7:05 to 8, to come in and talk hoops with Coach Wagner, Coach John, and our other student athletes that visit every Tuesday from 7:05 to 8 o'clock, and all along the Beaver Sports Radio Network. And those of you who are subscribers to Beaver Nation Online, thank you for tuning in. We welcome all of you and look forward to talking hoops tonight here on the show. If you have any questions or comments along the way for any of our guests, feel free, toll free, at 1-877-600-6433, 877-600-6433. And it's my pleasure to welcome our first guest tonight as we get started on Beaver Sports Talk, coming off a tremendous win before an enthusiastic crowd that I know Coach Wagner commended for their part in it. The Beavers knocking off Arizona Saturday 69-62 to get some momentum heading onto the road this week into the Bay Area. Please welcome OSU women's basketball coach LaVonda Wagner to Beaver Sports Talk. Good evening, Coach.
Good evening.
And it was a good win, wasn't it? I mean, anytime you win, it's good. But you played some really good hoop in that game from all accounts that I've read and talked to other people about. Were you pleased with how you played Saturday?
I was very pleased with how we played Saturday. Particularly, we had some breakdowns on Thursday that I wasn't very happy about. So Saturday we were much better. We got better on Saturday. And, anytime you can get a win, whether it's at home or it's on the road, we'll take that.
Let's talk about, you mentioned, and I was reading Brooks Hatch's game story locally in the Gazette-Times. You commended the crowd for their energy and their part in it. Tell us a little bit about that and what the fans' enthusiasm, some 1,600 there in the house, what it meant to you and your team.
Well, we're at a point in our program where we're building something, and that's one of the things that we've got to do is build a loyal, consistent fan base. And to come out and have about 1,500 people, 1,600 people cheering for us, booing when they needed to boo, that was a lot of fun, and just really commending the play of the young women on the floor, because we really did a nice job of winning the hustle plays and diving on the floor for loose basketballs. We out rebounded them, and so to have those people cheer for us and commend us was really good.
I know it's always a team effort. You win and lose as a team, and you always talk about team first. So I hesitate for a moment to talk about some individual things, but this school record equaling performance is a function of the team also in the long run, because the good passes have to be made, but baskets have to take place at the end of them. Mercedes Fox Griffin equals the Oregon State school record for assists with 15 in the victory against Arizona. So that's great for Mercedes, but it's also a function of the team, too.
Well, we had 20 assists on 24 baskets, so I was really happy to see that. And there was a famous coach who was very successful on the men's side of the game that once said, a pass is nothing more than a shot to the basket, and that was said by Ralph Miller. So I do a lot of that in practice. We talk about it takes 10 hands to score a basket, and we count assist as a basket. So Mercedes had, 30 points alone off of her assist.
And 13 points
Absolutely.
As a scorer herself.
So she had 43 points on that game on Saturday, and once I said that, everybody, her teammates were really happy and were cheering. And we put a lot of emphasis on rebounding and assist. And to say, hey, Sadie, you got 15 assists here. That's 30 points plus the 13 that you got at the glass. I mean, that's 43 points you had for us tonight.
That's a pretty good ball game, 43.9, not bad at all. Mercedes Fox Griffin with the 15 assists, and on the receiving end, I'm sure of a lot of those looks as she equaled her career high in scoring. Another solid night for Casey Nash with 27 points. The year she's having, she continues to lead the Pac-10 in scoring. It's just, it really, every night it seems I look up, there's a big number for her.
You know, it is a big number, Mike, and it is a situation where it's a hard 27. Every shot that she takes is contested. Every cut that she makes to the basket, she's bumped, she's pulled, she's grabbed, and, you know, she's shooting almost 50%, and these are not layups. These are mid-range jumpers, and she knocked down 2 3-point shots in that game, which was big for us, and she just continues to step up, and she had a double-double, and Mercedes was actually 4 rebounds away from a triple-double. Wow. So that was a really good game for us.
And, you know, the other thing, too, we talk about some offensive stuff, and certainly, you know, that those numbers, the stats in terms of assists and points will jump out at you. But I also understand that the ability to beat Arizona, you were able to hold such a good shooter in Joy Hollingsworth. She scored 17, but it took her 18 shots to get those. She was only 1 of 6 from three-point range. So Ashley Allen and others, but Ashley had a lot to do with that, didn't she?
Ashley Allen has really continued to step up on the defensive end and really gotten the toughest defensive assignment. And Joy Hollingsworth is a tremendous player. She came in just scoring from everywhere, and her favorite shot is the three ball. And we knew that we had to contain that, and I'd rather give her a 2 and a 3. And at the end of the game, I saw she was 1 for 6, but I kept thinking she had more than that. So that was really nice to see that our game plan, we executed it on the defensive end.
Very good win for the Beaver women's basketball team against Arizona on Saturday. Big challenge ahead, 2 ranked teams on the road. We'll take a break, and we will talk with Coach Wagner about Cal and Stanford coming up in the Bay Area. Later on in the program, Oregon State men's basketball coach Jay John, OSU gymnast Deanna Pyro will join us. We've got a lot going on tonight. It's great to have you with us. We're going to take a break from McMenamins. If you have any questions or comments along the way, the Dutch Bros Sports Talk Hotline available toll-free, 877-600-6433. Back after this timeout on the Beaver Sports Radio Network.
You'll find us.
Welcome back to Beaver Sports Talk on the Beaver Sports Radio Network. Happy to be joined by OSU women's basketball coach LaVonda Wagner. If you have any questions or comments for the coach along the way, toll free at 877-600-6433 on the Dutch Bros Sports Talk hotline. Beaver Sports Talk brought to you by Oregon Rain, and Oregon State athletes know the importance of being properly hydrated. Athletes who drink Oregon Rain say it goes down easier and it hydrates faster, and we certainly appreciate their support of Oregon State athletics. We talked about the great win against Arizona for the OSU women's basketball team in this Pac-10 conference. Every night it's a battle, isn't it? Now you've got two ranked teams on the road, beginning with Cal Thursday night. You can hear the game along the Beaver Sports Radio Network at 7 o'clock, 1340 Clue AM locally and other network stations. And Coach Cal, I don't know much about them, but I have read and heard that, like you, they have a pretty narrow rotation, so we may see a lot of the same people out there on the floor all night.
Absolutely. They don't have a tremendous amount of depth this season. They do have a great inside tandem of post players. Devaney Hampton, who was all Pac-10 last year, and Ashley Walker, who's playing very well, and they play very well together. They get a lot of high-low opportunity looks to the basket, and then they are starting two freshman guards. A point guard is a freshman, and then their two guards are freshmen. They've had some injuries, and then they've got a senior that they're starting. So, they're young, but they're players that came in, then they were all state and high school All-Americans, and they've done really well with that program. Joanne Boyle is an excellent coach. She played at Duke and then coached there for 9 years. And, they're ranked 22nd in the country and they swept Washington and Washington State this past weekend. So right now everything's on a high note for them. They're very positive.
You talk about one of their big players averaging 8.8, maybe just a slight lead now in Judy Lomax in the rebound category per game in the Pac-10. But Judy leads the Pac-10 conference in field goal percentage at 69%. 69 out of 100. It's pretty darn good stuff.
Very good, considering she's our 5 player, and she stands about 5 feet 10 inches tall. And she also is second in the conference in rebounding. And a lot of that is because of her hard work and her strength. And she just gets a lot of hustle plays for us.
As I was looking over that 69% mark, I came across the fact that Carol Mencken shot in the 1980-81 season, shot 75% from the field, which is still the OSU record. But what amazed me about that is, I think for most of Beaver Nation, that 80-81 campaign also is the year Steve Johnson with Ralph Miller shot the exact same, shot 75% from the field for the men. Still an NCAA record. Whatever was going on in 80-81 for post players was pretty good around here.
Let's bring it back.
Bring the tapes out and study those things a little bit.
Back.
Carol Mencken Schott, still a great ambassador for OSU sports and women's basketball, but to be even mentioned in the same conversation as we talk about with Judy shooting 69% is very impressive. So California this Thursday, then Stanford on Saturday at 2 o'clock. Stanford has won 48 consecutive games at home. So, obviously they're a great program and a great team, and that they will pose a significant challenge. You take it one game at a time, but just looking ahead a little bit to Saturday, that'll be a great opportunity for your team.
One game at a time, and it's another opportunity for us to get better. Clearly, they're a great basketball team. They're ranked 9th in the country. They've really had a lot of success in that program year in and year out. Their coach is a very successful coach, and they have a tremendous amount of high school All-Americans that are on their team, and they have a Kodak All-American in Candace Wiggins. And so, it'll be a tough challenge for us, but, we don't focus on other people. We focus on us and what we need to do, and, we kind of look at it possession by possession, what we're looking to execute, and we grade out on how we compete against ourselves. And in the end, if we have opportunity to be successful, it works out that way.
If you have any questions or comments for Coach Wagner tonight, toll free at 877-600-6433. 877-600-6433. Before we take our next break, Coach, in terms of, getting back to last weekend a little bit, the way you were able to respond in terms of getting better from one game to the next, whatever happened last Thursday night against a very good Arizona State team, you seem to really take lessons from it and come back and take away some of the things that happened against the Sun Devils to win your game Saturday. As a coach, is there some satisfaction to see how you can use that type of game to get better in the next outing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that we needed to do is we needed to rebound the basketball. We allowed Arizona State to out-rebound us, and they rebound the ball to run. They have a great transition game, and we didn't get back, and we didn't match up. And so they were able to score a lot in transition and a lot of second chance opportunities, and we put them at the free throw line. And those are the three things that you can control. Defense and not putting people on the free throw line, rebounding the basketball, and really matching up in transition. So we took care of those three things on Saturday, and it came out our way.
0 transition points for Arizona. So the Beavers indeed learned their lessons well in that victory. We'll take a break, talk more with Coach Wagner. If you'd like to join us tonight before we transition to Deanna Pyro from the gymnastics team, who will join us in a few minutes, and then OSU men's coach Jay John. Jump in here on the Dutch Bros Sports Talk hotline if you have any comments about the basketball you saw this past weekend at Gill that you'd like to share with Coach Wagner. Toll free, 877-600-6433. It's Beaver Sports Talk. McMenamins on Monroe on the Beaver Sports Network.
Subaru Forester driver.
What? Is this thing on? It is? All right, the Prize Patrol is here. Hi, everybody. Welcome to McMenamins. Thanks for coming out. And it's time to give our first prize away. I don't know what it is. I'm sitting here in the corner. You can't see me. They keep me in the dark on these things. I still don't know what it is. $25.80 is your win. $25.80.
Woohoo! 30 seconds. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Welcome back to Beaver Sports Talk along the Beaver Sports Radio Network. Be sure to stop by Corvallis Furniture. Sign up for your chance to win the best seat in the house for any home games at Gill Coliseum. You and a friend can watch the next Beaver home game this Thursday night. The Beaver men against Cal at 7:30 from the best seat in the house. Compliments of Corvallis Furniture. Coach Wagner with us for one more segment. We'll visit with Deanna Pyro from the gymnastics team and then Oregon State men's basketball coach Jay John. Coach Wagner's team coming off an impressive victory, 20 assists and 24 field goals, out rebounding Arizona 36-33. So you're 7-4, 7-8, 2-8 in the Pac-10 with splits back-to-back weekends heading to the Bay Area this weekend, Coach. I'm curious to know about your free throw percentage.
Yes.
You made free throws in a big way to put the game away against Arizona on Saturday. What is your 73%, which is excellent. At least I don't know what number you consider to be.
75.
75. So you still got a little ways to go. How do you treat those in practice? How often do you stop and shoot free throws? What's your approach there?
Well, we treat free throws as a pressure situation, and we, after some certain amount of drills and work, we'll stop and everybody lines up on the baseline, and we'll pick somebody out to hit a free throw, and they knock it down, they get a drink, they come out of the drink, out of a timeout, we run a play, we execute something. If they miss it, then they have to run it down and back in a certain amount of time, and then the next person goes. And now that the season is starting, what we try to do is, if somebody's missed free throws during a game, those are the people that I call on to knock down the free throw. Mm-hmm. So essentially, there's some value to that free throw. Right. You're either going to get your team a drink of water, or you're going to get your team a sprint. And so there are times when I'm like, okay, who can get us a drink of water, you know? Right. And so it has some value, and then we come out of that water drink, and it's like coming out of a timeout. We execute a play. And that's really been something I've really enjoyed doing, and it's really helped us a lot, I think.
Have you seen, from your, again, I know that there are people who struggle with the free throw shooting at all levels. We've seen, I remember watching Wilt Chamberlain growing up, and Wilt, for all of his skill, couldn't make a free throw. Another big fellow, Shaquille O'Neal, has well-documented difficulties, no matter how many gurus he works with. Have you seen bad free throw shooters become good free throw shooters, or is there something there?
It's repetition. It's repetition, and that's something I think that's kind of a lost art. People just don't work on it as much anymore, and in practice and times it's hard to take time away and shoot 100 free throws, right. Like people used to do. So that's something that a lot of players need to do in the gym on their own time is come in and get their free throw shooting done. And one of the things we do is we keep a chart, and we ask them to get at least 100 in a day, and sometimes it's hard with the way we're traveling and things, but it allows them at least to get some up every single day, either before practice or after practice.
Very good. Well, certainly the results have been evident as the Beavers hit free throws down the stretch to beat Arizona, and will certainly need to make them on the road to get an upset win this weekend against either Cal or Stanford or both. The other thing I was curious about, just reading the game account and the great game from Mercedes Fox Griffin with 15 assists, 13 points. The 15th assist was noted in this game story as a wraparound pass. You've since explained to me exactly what that meant, but as I read about it, I was sort of envisioning an open court style type play behind the back for show more, but it wasn't that in this case. Tell us about that play, but then your overall perspective on showy type, dazzling play.
That particular play, that particular possession was a hustle play made by Mercedes Fox Griffin. The ball was going out of bounds underneath their basket, and she just scooped it up and wrapped it underneath her arm to Casey Nash, who was on the left block, for a layup. And it was a tremendous play. I mean, she was really horizontal when she did it. It was amazing that she was able to make that play. And, players make plays, so that was really good to see. My philosophy on that is this, is that if we can execute our offense, if it's a bounce pass, a chest pass, a wraparound pass, between the leg pass, if it works, I don't have a problem with it. But as soon as that ball goes in the stands to the band, then we have a conversation. Okay?
Yeah, I got you. Do you have an abiding, Dr. Tom Davis at Stanford, every pass around the perimeter was a bounce pass. And at the same time, coaching against the late, great Ralph Miller, who loathed bounce passes. Mm-hmm. It used to be just amazing to watch those two teams play against each other. There's all these bounce passes and then no bounce passes at the other end. What your overall view of the place of the bounce pass?
My overall view of the place of the bounce pass is really helpful if you can go underneath defenses, and particularly in zones when their hands are up and they're tall, and you can go underneath people or draw people and they stand up and you can go below them. And that's one thing that we've got to do a better job is making reads and know when to make the right pass. A lot of people don't meet passes, so they wait for it to come to them, particularly when they're bounce passes and it's slow to get there. Mm-hmm. And I believe a pass, like I said, is ball advancement, and a pass to the shot to the basket. So I'm more along the lines of Ralph Miller. If we're going to pass it, let's get something out of it. Let's get a better advantage to score.
Mm-hmm. Good philosophy. Well, Coach, we are going to take a break and bring Deanna up here to talk some OSU gymnastics, and then Coach John for OSU men's basketball. But we're excited to continue to watch your team progress and grow, and you've got two more chances for that this weekend. Let's hear it for Coach LaVonda Wagner, heading to the Bay Area this weekend. Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. The Golden Bears Thursday night, 7 o'clock from Haas Pavilion, Stanford, Saturday afternoon at 2. You can follow the action via Beaver Nation online on OSUBeavers.com or locally 1340 Clue AM in the Mid-Valley and other network stations. We'll take a break, come back with Deanna Pyro, this week's everyday champion from OSU Gymnastics, as Beaver Sports Talk continues on the Beaver Sports Radio Network.